Well, hello there. My name is Louis, aka Louis the Frenchie Monette, and you're listening to the Frenchie Talks About. On this episode, we're talking about human beings. It's a very broad subject, and that's what I love. I can't wait to see where we're going to head with this. On tonight's episode, we have my man returning to the Schmoes of the North Network, Mr. Reverend Friday. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
All right. So, what a subject, huh? Human beings. There's a lot to talk about. Now, I have a little question for you.
All right.
When I propose like human beings, when I propose like the human condition, what was the first thought it came to your head? Like, what are we going to talk about humans? What was your first subject?
Oh, basically, I mean, like you say, human beings. Now, I always talk about the human condition itself, and like, yeah, it can be broad, but I mean, that's what it's the basis. It's the where we started at and what's controlling things right now. I mean, my idea of the human condition is everything, has a blame or a finger. The alcohol made me do it. The drugs made me do it. My friends made me. No, you had a choice. You had a choice to do something, whatever, but you still did it anyway. But when you got, caught or got in trouble, it's somebody else's fault besides your own. Then now, if you got away with it, oh, it was cool, man. Yeah. That's that human condition. But they have no acceptance, for what's, really is going on. Or, something really good happens. God made it happen. Something bad happened. Oh, the devil did it. No. You made those choices. No one forced you to do anything. But now I know there are situations like, what's the word I'm looking for? Can be encouraged, that kind of deal. Peer pressure, those things. But you got to accept consequences. But but my thing, human condition is it goes back to that basic caveman mentality.
Well, at the same time, it is, but I see human condition evolving. It's we are creatures of habit. We have our own, encoded in our genetics to be a certain way. There's certain things you can't control. Someone has ADD. Well, they have ADD. It's not
right.
Yeah, you can control it with the pills and everything, but it is the basis of who you are, chemically, anyways. Now, that's the interesting thing is humans are emotion. They are controlled by emotions, and emotions basically is chemical reactions. So some people have a better, understanding and accepting why they act a certain way, so they can control their emotions or their chemical balance better than other people. And other people, when carried a certain way, they just act that way and then realize, oh crap, I just did that. So I say there's two kinds of different people: those who are able to control the human condition by understanding it, and those who just live it.
Now, it's funny you say that because everything you said was like, wow, that's everything I've been saying, but I'm saying it wrong. It's that genetic, that's the genetic, makeup. It's that essence of what it is. But yeah, my thing is like, when I see people get frustrated, they, with their lives. I can't find a job, can't find a girlfriend, can't do this, can't do that. Everything's against me, but you're not looking at the real problem, though. And see, I'm speaking from experience is what it is, because I've been down that road. I pointed the finger at everybody else, but myself. When I started looking at myself going, hey, wait a minute, you're the asshole. So, and I don't preach to everybody, but I'm trying to let people know that, hey, just look at, the real cause, behind everything. Don't just, throw a finger or, blame or, but maybe it's something inside you that's, wrong, But okay, serial killers, they know.
Before
go ahead.
Let's not go into that subject because that's actually something I want to talk about at the end part. That's one of
the okay. So we're saving serial killers for the end.
Yeah, but no, because for me that's been not an obsession but a fascination for me.
No, I trust me. I understand completely because I had my own quirks with it, if you will. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's again. We'll save this.
Yeah.
There's so much to say, but we'll save it. There's a progression to where I want to go with this, but
okay.
But yeah. Okay, I have a question for you.
All right. 5.
Do you believe in humanity, or have you lost hope in humanity?
See, there's a good one. I can't give up.
You can't give up.
I can't give up for them, but it's for myself though. If I give up on humanity, what do I have left? Because like I said, I'm a 3-time suicide, person, been down that road and everything. So it's like I'm here now till the end, I'm going to ride this, world till the wheels fall off. So I'm like, if I give up on humanity, what do I have left now? Because I've chosen to move forward and see where it goes next. If I give up on them, I ain't got nothing left. So I can't give up on them. So, but I don't want to preach at them though. I just want to encourage them to look at things differently. That's the whole thing. I mean, human condition is just only one topic I talk about. I talk about several different things out there, but I can't give up on them. And I don't want to, but I do shake my head. I do go, what? So I do those things. I do the face palming. I'm not an angel or a devil. I'm the ambassador of chaos. So I'm the asshole sitting there going, what? I'm the crazy one, right?
Yeah, and how can I say this? I'm completely neutral. I don't believe in humanity, but I don't disbelieve humanity either. The way I see it is your experiences will shape the way you see humanity, right? There's as much good people than bad people, than, circumstances of good people doing bad things and bad people doing good things, right?
Right.
There's a mix of everything. For me, human beings are going to be human beings. They're going to betray. They're going to love. They're going to...
Right.
For me, basically, it's living through that. For life is made to understand and learn. So the people who do let me down, the people who, I have a hard time just understanding, where do you come from? Like, what is your mindset? Instead of just saying, oh, well, there's no hope for you, I won't necessarily ever agree with them. But for me, I've always found fascinating trying to understand their psyche and be like, but how did you come to that conclusion? Because I would have never thought that, So it's learning from those differences. I learn from humanity. I don't believe or I don't disbelieve humanity, but I try to understand it the most I can.
Okay. I'm going to make a statement about something that you said a minute ago, and it was about being neutral. And when I say this piece, I'm going to ask you again if you feel that same way.
Okay. All
right. Now, I remember when I used to play the, I call it the board game, because I'm on the left, I'm on the right, I'm in the middle. I'm like, I'm going to be neutral. I tried every different position of the game itself, and nothing worked. But now, but I did hold that neutral thing for a long time. I'm like, I'm not involved in any of it. I'm not part of any of it. I'm just an outcast. No, but I've come to realize I am no longer, like looking for a position in the game. I'm playing the entire game. I'm with this person here. I'm against that person there. I'm with that. I'm with everything and against everything at the same time. But my chess piece or my pawn or my dollar bill is to try to get people to see things differently. So it's like I have taken a position. People say, well, I'm going to take left, I'm going to take right, I'm going to take neutral. I've taken a position. I'm taking it all, because I think everybody deserves something, even if they don't want it, and I know, and I bless them, bless their hearts. I know they don't want it, man, but it's there for you. So do you still think you're neutral, or you think you actually are involved? Because right now you have a podcast talking about human beings, human conditions, and that's going to reach someone's ears. So you have a compassion for what's going on. So I don't think you are, but do you think you're still neutral?
Okay, maybe neutral is not the right word. I'm an observant.
There you go. Oh, there you go. Good word.
I'm the person that's on top of the dome and looking at everything. And again, don't usually take sides, but will like to transmit what he learned, right? So I'm that not overseer, but someone who looks from the top, sees what he sees, and likes to share, right?
Right.
Obviously, you can go left and right from time to time, but I do understand completely what you mean. So in that case, no, I'm not neutral. I'm observant.
I got you. Now it's funny. I'm the asshole at the bottom of the dome trying to climb up and keep falling down. And I keep looking around, go, oh, it's over here. Let me try it on this side. So I'm still like, hey, what's going on in there? But now I have stopped trying to get inside the dome. I'm just trying to find my way to the other side. Now it's funny because you go up, hit the top, and you go right back down. So you got to climb, hang out, celebrate, slide down. Don't stay on top, but always keep trying. I heard this interview a while ago from Peter Dinklage, the guy from Game of Thrones, the short guy.
Yeah.
And it's on the idea of how it started out. And one of the things he said was, fail. You're going to fail. Just fail better. That means that people that, will keep going. They will keep going. So I appreciate things like that.
Yeah. And that perspective is fun, right? Not just fun, but I find it gives you a better balance because
another good word right there. Let me tell you what. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a good balance because when you're on top, you see things from it's everything's equal, right? When your perspective inside, like the left and right and center, your perspective is your ground perspective. There's a lot of things around you. Being an observer, being someone who, understands human beings more than he lets on. And it's something relating to my job, right? I manage people. I usually know when someone's lying to me. I'm able to read facial tics, body.
The bullshit detector.
Yeah. And I keep saying to them, don't bullshit a bullshitter, because I can be a real good bullshitter. I do sales. I did sales for a long time in my life. I am a good, to give you an example, and then this kind of relates to what we're talking about, human condition. In sales, right? Just the people who were having success and this is from what I learned from when I was first beginning, is the people who are not themselves. They have to create characters, right? And after a while, when I was calling, let's say I knew the profile before, I look at it, it's a florist, it's a hair salon, nail salon. I'm going to answer the phone, call, and instead of saying, yes, hello, my name is Louis. Yes, hi, my name is Louis. Is it possible to talk to Patricia, please? Hi, Patricia, how you doing? It wasn't right, but I calculated what kind of business place I was talking to. I created a character, and I was talking to them to something that familiar, that is not aggressive, not to get their sympathy, right? And then connect and do a sale. Same thing. I call a garage. I'm like, hey, can I talk to Bill, please? Hey, Bill, it's Louis. How you doing today? Yeah, 5 minutes. So I would adapt, right? And that's understanding human beings and manipulating them.
See, okay. Now let me ask you this. I'm curious. Do you know about this, or have you never heard of audio hypnotism, auditory hypnotism? You can actually call someone on the phone or talk to them, and even in person. But you can actually sell them anything based on, like you said, talking on their level, talking their language, their body language. I mean, whole 9 yards. It's a mentalism basically, but you can do it auditory easier because people pick up on things and feel so connected and comfortable with that. So now, you ever heard of that, or you just something you just do natural?
Yeah, I never heard of it, but it's natural.
Nice.
It's something how can I say it? Like, again, I'm being an observant. You observe a lot of characters, you observe a lot of personality types, and you're able to absorb things that, if you focus on it, and your neurons are able to say, hey, this is completely, not into sales, but you can still apply what you've observed into sales and see what gives, right?
All
And
right.
I work very well when there's no structure. I have to create my own structure. I'm very imaginative. I'm outside the box. So if I can take something, experience I had in real life, and apply it at work, whatever that form is, that's how I usually perform well, right? So it just comes natural. I do it, and I saw it was working, so I just did it until it was perfect.
Gotcha. Now it's funny where I was gonna like tell everybody, listen here, but I have to give a little bit of background. See, me myself, I travel in the metaphysical realm, and people think, oh, witchcraft, Satanism, pagan, this and that. Yep. But I'm more of an adeptus and a researcher. You know, I love the occult. I love the esoteric. You know, but I found a lot of philosophy in that shit too. You know, so when you were talking about that, and I was like, I was like, I don't want to blow anybody's mind. I'm just saying this is how my brain works. When you talk about the whole dome thing, you talk about balance and everything, right? Now I've read a lot of research and history books and fantasy books and all kind of stuff. And one thing I heard was balance is not really a good thing to have. Now people look for it to have it because it makes you feel comfortable, but balance really is no good for you because balance is a net movement of zero. Without movement, there is no growth.
Well,
I was like, holy, but that blew my mind. So go ahead.
What balance is, right? Balance is purgatory.
Well, see that there, you got nowhere else to go. You know, that's what it is. So over the past several years, let's say 3 years now, I've got around a lot of different people, a lot of different philosophies and ideas. And this one guy shared his philosophy is called the flux. Now, still, you know, I told him my theory of the balance thing. He goes, well, a flux is like a roller coaster. You know, you use like an oscilloscope. It's waves. You know, instead of being up and down, you're just riding. You know, because everything's gonna be either bad or good, but it's ups and downs is what it is. And so I was like, wow, that is brilliant. Then I thought about the dome thing. I'm like, you're on top of the dome. You stayed there. You see everything from behind you because you're at balance. I'm trying to get up the dome to get on the other side. So it's like that big old ride, you know. So it's amazing that. See, I talk to normal people too, and I'm not saying you're not normal, but and they go, wow, that's normal. Pretty cool.
I ain't normal.
Yeah, I got some really interesting friends that I talk to, and they're really good people, just good people. Now there's assholes out there too, you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Another question for you, Mr. Rev. What is going to be talking about human beings, a bit less conditioned, but the actual human beings that living on Earth? What is the biggest challenge of the next generation to come?
Okay, it's gonna sound harsh. But I've always prided myself on keeping it real. You know, I grew up that way. I trained my kids that way. I'd like to be that way in life. So I try to keep it real. So it might sound harsh, but we got the next generation coming up. I'm going to say the people that are right now around 13 to 17 right now is I'm going to ask y'all to do better than what we did and take this time and move forward. There's a philosopher out there that has said that depression is looking at the past, anxiety is looking at the future. You look at the now and live in the present, you know. And I was like, hey, that's good stuff right there. So I try to do that. Try not to plan too far ahead and try to look too far back. But I like nostalgia. But I want people to move forward because that's something we can do. That's easy to do. You just wake up and you go forward. But once you start going backwards, you know, to a point where everything just looked wrong, you're going to get the wrong inspiration. Go look at the good stuff that happened this year. I know it wasn't a lot, but there were some good things happening this year. And there was like asteroids. We found an ocean underneath West Virginia mountain. There were some volcanoes going crazy. There was some radio waves being picked up by NASA. I mean, there were some good things going on this year, believe it or not.
Now, that was a very good but vague answer. Going to what you're actually saying, we have to do better, right? But in what?
No, because we're going to do bad regardless. That's the human condition. We're going to do bad regardless. It's just if you know you're going to do bad, maybe you want to do better. You know that.
Yeah,
I mean, bottom line, the human condition is we know we're going to do bad. We just redirect it. So yeah, we're going to do bad. I'm saying we can do better. I'm not saying do best you can. Just be you for you. Just express to inspire. But. And I'm not saying don't be angry. I'm not saying don't be hateful and shit. Oh yeah, oh man, it gets my nuts every time that everybody gets up and rage, and I'm like, dude, there is good stuff still going on. Y'all got to remind people about that.
Yeah, and see, I asked that question because I'm waiting a kid. It's coming not even like in 3 weeks, I never thought in my mind I'd be raising a next generation, but I am. And
yeah. Now I got a favor to ask though.
Yeah.
I'm all about the AI. I'm all about the tech. I'm all about the information age and everything. I'm all about the lawnmower man uploading subconscious to the mainframe. If your kid ends up being a scientist in MIT or some shit like that, and they figure out the way to transplant the human consciousness to a computer, hook a brother up. I've already contacted some Swedish scientists, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. I will be the guinea pig, dude. I have reached out to scientists in Sweden, Norway, and somewhere else. I think might be Canada too, that are involved in that stuff. Yeah, I'm all about it.
All right, Ref. If my daughter Luna Jade is going to invent the microchip able to transfer your consciousness and put it into somewhere, you'll be the first one to know, sir.
Microchip? No, dude. She's the next level. There's going to be no more tech. There's not going to be hardware. Hey. There's not going to be hardware. Everything's going to be nanotechnology. Oh, fuck that. Microchip. Man, get out of the 80s, man.
Hey, I was born in the 80s, okay? Let me my small nostalgia of microchips, okay?
Yeah, your nostalgia. Here's my nostalgia. My microchip was the size of a card table. Because I'm from 71. I was around. They had big old thing, and there was one microchip. Yeah, you had the next one. You had the Atari version.
Just to know you even more, I'm gonna say next when she invents a floppy disk to put on your head to transfer your consciousness. She'll be using floppy disks, sir.
I owned a computer repair and refurbish shop down in Florida for a while. I was actually refurbishing computers for the local parents that couldn't afford computers for kids in school, because school was like, kids got to have a computer. They can't afford that shit. So I'd take a bunch of old broken ones and put them together so the kids could have computers. And, $50, here, take this shit, Damn, what was it? Oh, I just got a sidetrack. But I was doing the computer stuff, and the friend of mine gave me this box of these old zip drives, the floppy disk, the little cartridges, the color ones. I use them as coasters.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Now I go back to the old what was it? The 5x7 floppy disks. Remember those? You remember the big old black ones?
My dad used to use them.
My friend Russell, he was 12 years old. It was around 82, 83, and he used to go to the store and buy these computer games, take them and buy blank floppy disk, take them home and pirate that shit on his computer and take it back to the store and get his money back. Now they were talking about 82, not nowadays. We're talking about 82. He was doing this shit, and he had the first modem in my neighborhood. Oh, dude, it was sick, man. I was a computer from the jump. I mean, I played Pong. I'm from there.
Yeah, but you see, that actually brings the other subject I think would be interesting to talk about. Humans and their capacity to learn, the capacity to, capacity to adapt and evolve, right? At one point, is it too much?
We have to as in too much to try to keep going or try to get better.
Example. Just to give you an
example.
Right,
yeah.
Okay? We're at a point where understanding black holes, we're understanding quantum physics, we're understanding how to split an atom, we're understanding at what time do we stop?
You don't, man. Okay, hey, here's something that a friend of mine, we had the conversation a while ago about, and I've had it online, and it goes on the idea about innovation. We are stuck and we haven't created anything in a long time. I mean, we took some fireworks strapped to a PVC pipe and put it in the moon. We made cars go. We um made planes fly. We took a gorilla heart, put it in a human being. We ain't created nothing in a long time it's gonna benefit mankind globally. The paperclip. People use the damn paperclip, but we have not innovated anything recently, and it's sad to see that people picking on. And I know people got personal political opinions, like Elon Musk. And I think he's going to do something for us, but his agenda might be off. But I still got to support the tech though.
But you see, I don't agree with you. Like, we have innovated so much just medically itself.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, okay, go ahead.
Just the fact that innovation is not necessarily just creation, right? It's understanding the fact that we're the last 5 years we're able to prove that black holes is not anymore a mathematical equation. We might have found proof.
Right.
We understand dark matter. We are starting to understand, how make a massive. Yeah, but the massive black holes are basically is what holding the universe together. This is what gives gravity. We're understanding that there's two types of gravities. The one that usually we're used to when we drop the apple goes on the ground because it contracts. But we understand now that gravity could also extract, go outwards when it is at a level playing field, so flat and so equal that it actually explodes, aka the Big Bang.
Right.
So we're at a level that we're understanding things that are way beyond us. We're understanding dimensions, and so at one point, like, is it enough? Because we're tapping into things that we might not were meant to tap in.
Really? You don't think so?
I don't think so, because if we were meant to, because we know other dimensions exist, dark matter exists, if we were meant to understand that, we would have the capacity to see it. We would have the capacity to interact with it. I think we are, reaching our limits, but our brains so want something about human nature that wants us to push so far ahead, but we're attaining a plateau that the more we do it, the more we're destroying our planet.
Oh, there's the kicker.
Yeah, because the more we advance, the more we destroy. There's cause and effect, right? You push something, there's going to be something that disappears, or something that's going to be affected.
That's
at one point, do we stop?
See there it is, because now we're back in my wheelhouse, because it's the idea of the laws of equivalent exchange. Mm-hmm. In order to get something, you got to give something. That's how magic basically works. You don't just don't get and get and get. You actually got to give something back. That's the way the universe works. Mm-hmm. The more we create, the more we destroy. But that's a cycle, though. That's a cycle, and it has to be done. I mean, there's no way around that, because once you stop moving, then everything dies. Mm. Now things are still going, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be some change. There's always changes. But yeah, the idea of stop creating, because it's like a flower. When it grows, it dies off. You cut it off, it rebuds again, it flowers again. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, things got to go. That's the circle of life, and the Lion King taught us that.
Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, if you don't mind, is something I found fascinating, because something I'm getting into more when I grow older, and it's something that I realize my dad is even more into it, is one's acceptance of his own or her own mortality.
Ooh, see, I talk to it every now and then to question that thing, but it's like I don't focus on it anymore, because I think I got a better understanding of my mortality. I think that
it's a shocker, right? There's something like when it hits you, like one day everything you see will end.
No. That's not what my mortality is.
Oh, well, what is yours?
Well, I'll give you an example. Like I said, I tried to commit suicide 3 times. And I am the third time I woke up, I but the shame, the guilt. I mean, everything, every kind of negative emotion, was still hitting me, but it was focused on myself, not everybody else. I felt like just dog shit ugly, for what I did. And I made myself a promise, not anybody else, not my family, my kids, friends, strangers. I made a promise to myself that I would never do it again. I would live with the suffering, the anguish, the pain inside my head, my heart, my soul, until the end, So
Mhm.
I did that. But now I grew up in a time frame where I was, near death because of, I was at a war zone. Then about a few months ago, I had someone did a drive-by on my house, and it was the wrong people, wrong house. They thought somebody else lived here. But bullets went through my walls, and one was by my head, and I didn't even know it until the cops showed up. So, and I still don't question that. Oh, I could have died. I could have died. No, I've already chosen my death. I'm going to wait for the end.
Mm.
That's my death. I'm going to die in the end. So I don't look at, oh, I'm going to die. No, I'm trying to. That's what the whole thing about looking at the future. I don't look at the future. I'm looking at what can I do right now. What can I do the next 30 minutes? The kind of deal. But my mortality, yeah, I know people focus on it because I've been there. I played the game. I've been there, but I don't focus. I got other things to think about.
Yeah, it's a very dark subject at the same time, but it also
No. See, that's the
but
thing. That's the misconception that people don't understand is
but
they're
if I can finish, it is dark.
okay. Go ahead.
At the same time, it's very calming at the same time, right? Because the more you understand
There
how
you go.
life works, the path right now, because when you're young, you take things for granted. When you have no experience, you don't really think about the quintessential existential type of questions.
Right.
But more you understand, we're like, this is a straight path, and one day there's a cliff. It's not as panicky. I do have anxiety on death, and in my background, if I can go into my youth, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Okay.
Right.
And there's a lot of emphasis about death. When you're a young kid, you don't realize it, but a lot of it is like, let's do this for God. So when like paradise will be on earth, or if you die, you wake up in paradise. It was always the what happens after death or after Armageddon comes, right? So it's been in my subconscious for a very long time. And it was a dark thing for a very long time. Now it has become my goal in a sense that I know it's going to happen one day. I can't. Some people try to run away, like they run away from aging or cancer, right? They ignore things. I don't run away from the notion. It pushes me to do the most I can now, realizing one day this will end. So I better do this now.
I got you. No, and like I said, I've been there. But if people try to escape death, it's not going to work. Celebrate life. I mean, don't look at when you're going to die. And then everything you just talked about, that's what I want people to do is like, don't try to focus on it being a dark matter, a dark subject, something taboo you can't think about. No, think about it, because understanding it better will help you, move forward.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to go into the last subject, the one I wanted to save, the darker side of humanity, the ones that, brains are just connected.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, now it's funny because criminals in general. Now I ain't talking about people that get pulled over for having a joint, whatever. I'm talking about criminals in general compared to serial killers. Yeah, it's a different ball game, but is the mentality the same?
The way I see it, and this goes a bit on how the human brain works. I'm a strong believer. Okay, you probably know the theory of multi-universes, right? The multiverse.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
I think that is a science fiction explanation of something that is very simple. Is your brain is your dimension. There's no 40 us's in the world, right?
Really? You don't think so?
We're one dimension, like we're on one planet, but because we are beings of energy that lives in shells and in a meat bag,
Meat suit, right?
meat soup with a brain made of meat, but we're energy, like it or not, neurons firing and going on past experiences. But we create our own reality. This is why a lot of people, you know, you can always go into conversations and be like, "Oh, this has happened," and they're like, "No, that's not what happened. This is what happened." And there's all like no one agrees on what happens, and that happens often, right? This is because your mind creates its own circumstances, its own reality. When it comes to serial killers, their brains are on a whole different reality, a whole different.
And the chemical imbalances too,
Yeah.
and all the psychological traumas, the whole list of them.
And it's because that's their own reality. You can't understand it. You can't really reason with it. And you can't really be that person because that brain is so far off. That reality it created for itself is so detached that its reasoning and its path of logic is nothing that your brain can access because it's not on the same realms of reality.
Right. And I mean, you think about, like I said, the question is, a typical criminal, like, okay, myself, I have been in jail for stealing a car.
Okay.
Long story, whatever. So I had Grand Theft Auto. Now I've had other criminal charges because I was a street kid. I committed crimes. I was a criminal. Yeah, I was a fuck up. I paid my dues and I redeemed myself, whatever they want to call it. But still, I'm not ashamed of my past, because it made me who I am today. But I can't compare myself to someone like, Jeffrey Dahmer, 8 people, and enjoyed it, John Wayne Gacy, killing kids, bury them in the basement. Charles Manson. Now, Charles Manson is just a different ball game. Ball game. We're talking about a hands-on killer. David Berkowitz, that mentality of that criminal is still crime, but yeah, it's fascinating how I don't want to know how they think, put it that way, but it is fascinating though.
Yeah, and this is something also because there's a lot of relations. I studied in sexology, right?
All right.
And like sex psychology, basically. And there's a lot of things relating, the turn-ons of someone. If it's not well nourished, and there's a lot of, how can I say this? Almost like a psychotic break. Because not handled properly. It goes to my theory of your brain is your own reality, right? It forms these thoughts and these structures, a way of thinking that are so absurdly not natural. And this is where you get some people like I forgot his name, like this really big teddy bear with a mustache back in the 70s, I think. He was the sweetest person. He's like 6'8", big guy, and he would talk so proper. But at one point, a word, an emotion, something would trigger him. He would become someone else completely. That wasn't
the BTK killer, was it?
No, I don't. It's not the BTK. It's someone else. It's it was in one of the murderers in that Netflix show. Forgot the name of it. That follows like the creation.
Mindhunters.
And Mindhunters.
It's good
the guy
shit
with
right there.
The glasses and the mustache, a really bulky guy that you see often at the beginning.
Right.
He had a capacity just to switch and become someone else, and then he said himself he does not know why he does that. Right, just something happens, and he becomes someone else. That shows how complex the human brain is. Sometimes you'll do something that is not really your intention, but it's the emotions taking over you, or technically almost like someone else taking over you and living your darkest experiences and putting it into physical form, right? And then you go back to yourself. That's a scary thing, to think that you might not be even in control of your own mind,
Well, yeah. See, now that's that. Then you play the conspiracy game about who is in control, whole 9 yards. But let me ask you this question, and since you studied all the sex science and everything, I've heard theories that serial killers, that's their form of sex. Even if they're gouging someone's heart out, it's their sex, because they're looking for an orgasm they cannot have with typical intercourse. Okay. So if someone was to take someone and cut an arm off, is that are they looking for an orgasm?
Okay, that's the thing. This is again generalizing. I'm not a professional. I'm still doing the studies.
Oh, I'm just asking.
Full disclaimer, but I still have to mention full disclaimer. But the way I understand it is not everyone. There's a whole spectrum, right? Like there's a spectrum.
Okay. That's what I'm curious.
There's a spectrum of sexuality. There's a spectrum. Like orientation. There's also a spectrum of what gets you excited, right?
Oh, okay.
So there's the normal spectrum. Then, there is no normal, but there is the more common spectrum, and then you got spectrums that are a bit more, abnormal, but non-dangerous for the other person or for themselves, and is consensual. But then you have sexual abnormalities that
right.
is non-consensual, so the person is not willing, and it is that the only thing that can trigger them sexually is that thing, that particular moment and that's the only thing they think about, and it's the only time they can have a relief. That goes into territory that they probably won't, again, sorry about this, but they're not ejaculating per se. You can.
I know. It's a mental orgasm.
Exactly.
I know it's not a physical release. It's a mental orgasm.
But it could be a physical release. There's some people who do a physical action when this happens. Again.
Oh yeah, there are some people like that. Yeah, but I'm saying in general,
use the body acts and stuff like that. There's spectrum. You can't put all your explanations in one basket. But when it comes to sexuality, one thing I realize is the more you repress it, the more unhealthy you become, and the more illusions you create for yourself, right? So it's worth observing your own sexual thoughts. It's funny, because most people don't really analyze what triggers them, what makes them excited. But sometimes if you take a step back and you really, write it down or put it into perspective, this turns me on, this turns me on, this turns me on, this turns me on. It's interesting to see. You can actually learn someone. You can learn their personality by kind of figuring out what they're turned on by.
And that goes back to what you said before about, talking about dark subjects. People don't talk about them, they avoid them, but it's good to talk about those things or to learn about them, because then you understand better. And that goes on the same idea of, the sexual thing you just talked about. It's like people don't talk about sex because it's, taboo. Oh, we can't talk about sex. No, that's another that's a human condition. That's the desire to be with somebody. But you got levels, you got different levels, you got different types and all that, but that's still basic, human instinct is sexual desire.
And it's something that's been repressed for a long time by religion, by a lot of things. That being said, that core reaction of saying, okay, that's not good. No, this is evil. It's Satan, as my mom would say. Basically, it's your brain deciding for you. Your brain protects yourself from yourself, and you don't even realize it sometimes, right? You just have to think that, like, no, this is something I can't talk about, and you kind of forget what just happened a couple of seconds, and you go on something else, right? And I wonder why humanity have this instinct of like shying away from the darker subjects, like something that makes them uncomfortable, like the more abnormal sexual stuff. People just tend to shut them off, and I don't understand, because I don't have that. This is something I lack. I am curious about it. I don't push it, but I feel sometimes like I'm the only person who doesn't push it.
Hey, it's funny because something we talked about it before also is not knowing things. Okay, like when you say, people will tell you, like parents, don't look at this, don't read this, don't watch that, don't talk about this, those things. Then you spend years not knowing what's going on. Then once you get outside of the home area, you learn from somewhere else, and that source is going to be your educational material, whether it be school, porn shops, friends, strangers on the street, those kind of things. That's going to be your learning experiences, because you were not told what to expect. those kind of things. So it's like then you got people out there that would take that advantage of that and teach you the wrong information. Then that person will spread the other information. So yeah, I mean, if you got, I mean, parents, I mean, that's their job. It's not the teacher's job to teach the kids. Parents got to give the kids the real. Yeah, I mean, you don't scare them with the boogeyman stories anymore. You got to give them the real. I train my kids. The world is fucked up. It's not rainbows and unicorns, but it's workable. You can hang out with it. You just got to figure out your place. That's the whole thing. But yeah, for people that grew up in a life where you spent like 13 years, parents sheltering you from everything around. Then you go out in the real world. Yeah, then you learn. Then your mind is now in a different space also.
Yeah, true. Sorry. Apparently, sorry. Breathing your saliva is not a good idea.
Breathing life.
Saliva.
Oh.
All right. Yeah, no. You know what? We can go on for a very long time. I am gonna cut this to now because I want to have a part 2 with you soon, Rev. I think there's a lot to talk about in human condition. I want to go dive deeper into human hate. I think next time.
Oh yeah. See, now there's a good one. I mean, because that's what it is. It's the Yeah, that's a good one. We was going to talk about serial killers. I had one in particular, but I was saving that for last. But we can talk about it next time. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy.
Yeah, not just Ted Bundy, but yeah, he's a prime example. But so if ever you love or you liked what you heard here today, sorry, slightly drunk here. That being said, don't miss out. Subscribe, follow, especially if you want to listen to part 2 of our conversation next time. And we have a special gift for the people who stick around and we hit 100 subscribers. We're gonna do a special video once that is done. So help us get to that goal, people. That being said, Rev, where can we find you?
I'm on Spotify right now, Anchor. It's the Paranoid Playhouse. Facebook, of course, Twitter, Tattooed Monk 71, YouTube, Reverend Pride Daddy.
All right, and you can find me on my YouTube page, Schmoes of the North, as well as on Twitter, Northern Schmoes. If not, you'll find me in bed because I'm tired. Bye bye. All right.
Yeah, I ain't leaving this.